All right, he was over by 6.4 pounds at the weigh-in. He was,
there it is.
There it is.
Davis, and down goes Lemos. Big bull or not, overweight or not. As he's playing Matador for moments, goes downstairs with a vicious right hook and that left hook puts him on snaky legs and face first on the mat. And he goes reeling backwards. Don't dance too early now, Keyshawn, because Lemos is still dangerous. But not if you can continue to land those powerful shots. And that's how you end the fight. Keyshawn Davis said, I don't care if he's King Kong. If he comes into my house, he's going to pay the price. And boy, did Lemos pay the price.
2025, we got big plans for everybody in the boxing world. Hey, Javante, knock, knock.
Family's everything, but my kids, to my children, I'm nobody. But that night they're gonna find out their father's very special.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Boom. There we go. What a weekend last weekend was. Feels good to do a live again. It's been a while, but I've been watching boxing just like everyone else. Had a lot going on last week. Keyshawn Davis was shining. Boots Ennis defended his title. Abdullah Mason, to me, looked sensational. Had a lot going on. And then in 2 days, yes, we are 2 days away from Mike Tyson and Jake Paul doing whatever they're going to do in the ring in Texas on Friday night on Netflix. So there was a lot going on. It's good to be back on here. I'm going to put the link in a little bit. We'll do this for about an hour. Just a free-for-all and talk boxing. And I think the most pressing thing on my mind, and this has been talked about, but Boots Ennis went to 33-0, 29 knockouts. He was forced to defend his belt against Karen again, who he defeated the first time, won every round. This time he went, he fought a little more flat-footed. Dropped Karen, won a unanimous decision, got hit. It's this knee-jerk reaction now with, it's not only boxing fans, but this knee-jerk reaction to either say someone's a superstar or to knock them right off the pedestal. He had a tough fight. I'm seeing Boots Ennis is exposed and all this other stuff. Like, well, what do you mean he's exposed? He had to fight a guy that he already beat easily. He had to fight it to keep his belt. No one wanted to see the fight. The guy's tough, and he got hit a few times. I mean, we move on. You look at Boots' record. It's not littered with champions and Hall of Famers, but he's unbeaten. We want to see him fight the big fights. Now he's going to move up to 154, but just stop with the Boots is exposed. It's this knee-jerk reaction. Someone looks great, they're great, like Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua had some good wins against so-so opposition. All of a sudden, everyone's saying he looks better than ever. And I can remember clearly when Anthony Joshua beat Francis Ngannou. I was with Pro Box, and I asked Tim Bradley and Paulie and Chris, aren't we putting a little too much into this win? It was sensational, but shouldn't we temper our enthusiasm? And they were all like, no, he looked great. It's a knee-jerk reaction to every single fight. It's every single fight. It is what it is. No, he was exposed, LOL. Boxing Scholar says Boots. Well, what exposed is what? What was he before? Was he, everyone was saying he's going to be Sugar Ray Robinson, and now people are saying that he won't even be Sugar Shane Mosley, which is are big shoes to fill. We don't know until fighters. My man, everything is good. We don't know if fighters are really exposed until they fight better fighters. Now, he got hit more than he usually does, but I'm not ready to write him off. He might move up to 154. I just want to see him fight great fighters. I got you, Scholar. I'll tell you what, Abdullah Mason, I thought it looked sensational. And yes, and here the knee-jerk reactions, people are going to say, oh, he's got no defense. He got hit. Guess what? It's boxing, and you get hit. He got dropped twice, but he was never really hurt, and he got up, and he took care of business. Took care of business. My man, Jay Rich, I've always felt Boots was overrated, and he will get slept at 54. Don't think he'll walk through them shots and will no longer be the bigger man in the ring. We'll see, Jay. I mean, you might be right. You might be right. We will see, but let's see it when we see it, right? Raphael 32. Mason, Boots, and Schofield need to tighten their defense ups. Yeah, Schofield had a tough one too. And Mason. Mayweather, Roy, Leonard, Hearns were Hall of Famers by the time they were 27. Yeah, but this is just I agree. I agree, but this is just a different era. I mean, these guys, it takes a long time to build up a resume now because the top guys just don't fight each other. That's just what it is. But I agree. Especially, look, Mason's fight was super exciting, and he does have to shore up his defense, and I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Scholar, I expect that from Mason, not Boots. Well, you know what, Scholar? Maybe Boots, he was forced to fight this guy again, Karen, and nobody wanted to see it. I mean, it had no juice, even though he was at home. I didn't want to see it. Giorgio, I'll get to you in 1 second. I didn't want to see it. So he won every second of every round the first fight. So he tried to be more offensive minded, and he did drop him once, and he got hit. I mean, you know, fighters will tell you some fights they're not as up for, and I'm sure that's the case. But let's see what happens in the future. Giorgio, I'm glad you asked. That is a Miguel Cotto headband. I got that in Puerto Rico. When Tito Trinidad was fighting, they used to have the red headbands with Trinidad on it, or Tito, and I could never find one at his fights. But at a Cotto fight in Puerto Rico when I was with HBO, I bought that. So I just put it on Oscar. Jay Rich, Boots fight to go to decision plus 420 was the easiest money ever. Yeah, that was a good bet. If I had a betting show, that would have been the focus. Boots was on skates. Yeah. And yes, he did have a built-in excuse. I can't debate that, but I'm not ready to write him off. I'm not ready to write him off. I mean, in some of his fights, he's looked sensational. He has not fought great fighters yet, and he still has to fight them. Maybe Virgil Ortiz, who we don't know if he's a great fighter either. But it's just a different era now. And even Tank, like you look at Tanks, like you start to look at these records and see who these fighters have fought, and it's not super impressive. And you know, Boots didn't have a great night, but unbelievably, we're 2 days away from Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Now, my sense is a lot more people are going to watch this than are leading on. That's what I think. A lot of people are on their high horse and they're saying, oh, it's not a real fight, which I don't. Look, it's a real fight in the sense it's sanctioned because it's in Texas and they can make up the rules as they go. That's what they do in boxing. But there's betting on this fight. So it's a real fight in that sense. I don't think it's a real contest. But nonetheless, in 2 days, there's a fight. And it's on Netflix. So, like I said, my sense is I've talked to a lot of people. And a lot of people are like, oh, a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm not going to buy that. Well, first of all, you don't have to buy it. It's on Netflix. And most people have Netflix. So, it's not a pay-per-view. Netflix was very smart when they did this. It was a great business decision. Very smart. So my sense is all these people saying, this is not real boxing and I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to watch it. They're going to watch it because I know I'm going to watch it. I've got as much criticism as anyone else, but I'm going to watch it. It's on. I have Netflix. They don't do like DAZN does. You know, DAZN, if you have DAZN, you have to pay extra for a pay-per-view. They're not doing this. I did watch the 3-part series. They have a 3-part series on the fight, and I watched it. I'm always interested in Mike Tyson. I know his story. We all know his story. You know, Boxing Scholar says they'll watch. Exactly. That's my point. Yeah, you know, he's 58 years old and he fights in these little spurts. I notice a lot his feet are oftentimes that he's straight up. In these little clips, he's straight up. So a jab could knock him down, knock him off balance. He's 58 years old. So I think people are going to watch because they have no idea what's going to happen. Look, it's a sanctioned fight, and the rounds are 2 minutes each. They're 2 minutes because Mike Tyson's 58. It's an 8-round fight rather than a 10-round fight because Mike Tyson's 58. That's why. Now, should it be a sanctioned fight? No. Last time I checked, in the unified rules of boxing, men's fights were 3 minutes. But this is boxing, and they can make up the rules as they go. And it's in Texas, where it is the wild, wild west of boxing. That's what Texas is. You can do anything in Texas. Anything in Texas. So what's going to happen? I don't know. I really don't know. Irie Elliott, tank highlight of his career was Pedraza win. Maybe. Boxing Scholar says, I'm scared. You know, I mean, if you're a fan of Tyson, and I grew up with, you know, you can't see them, but there are pictures up here of Tyson against Berbick when he won the title. Tyson against Spinks, where he defended the title. That was a long time ago. That was 1986, 1988. So what was it? It's been 20 years or so since Tyson was in the ring. And when he lost, 2005, I think, and he looked horrible. He looked terrible. And suddenly he's going to be a better fighter at 58. He's also not fighting. He's fighting a novice. So people are going to watch, though. That's all Netflix wants people to do is watch. And they'll get new subscribers. That has to be their end goal, to get new subscribers. Boots needs to at least unify at 147 with Brian Norman Jr. before moving up to 154. Tyson wins. Everybody will be watching it because it's free on Netflix. Exactly. But I'm telling you, a lot of people, like the boxing purists, they're saying, this isn't real. I'm not going to watch. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm watching. Jay Rich, as much as I watch boxing, my girlfriend doesn't, and she has surprisingly asked me about this Paul Tyson fight twice now, so I know it'll do absolute numbers. Well, I agree, but I don't think we're ever going to know what the numbers are because Netflix doesn't announce things like that. I don't. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure they're going to announce how many people streamed it live, and you got. There is a good fight on the undercard. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano 2, which is a rematch. That's a worthy one. It's a worthy one. I really haven't even looked into who else is on the card. Raphael says, I think Michael will be fine. My man, Matt, what's going on, my man? I know you're excited 2 days from now. You got, by the way, this shows you what a joke it is. It's called Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. And come on, it's Tyson versus Paul. But if you care, if people care. Wow, Jay, I'm delusional and will be betting on Mike to win. There you go. There you go. Jay odds would be good on Mike by decision and a draw. That's what I'm betting on. See, and they're getting people to bet. I was at the press conference in, was it May or June? Before the fight was postponed, I was in Harlem at the first press conference. And I'm telling you, the people there were excited. And it's going to do numbers. Matthew, either way, I don't mind if the one gets knocked out. This was a money grab between Paul and Tyson. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's Tyson's 58. He's 58. I'm scared if it goes a distance. LOL. I need him to get a quick KO. Matthew, I just wonder why half the country likes to be calmed by a snake oil salesman. It seems to be everywhere nowadays. Well, in this case, I'm sure you're talking about Tyson and Paul. Mike Tyson is going to draw, no matter what he does for the rest of his life. People are going to watch him do what he does. That's just the deal with him. That's just the deal with him. But in honor of Oscar, I'm always a week behind with Oscar when it comes to his clapback Thursdays. So maybe I'll drop. We'll see how this was. I'm sure everyone has seen this, but this was Oscar's clapback Thursday last week. So let's go to Oscar.
It's your favorite time of the week again. Time for the only segment in boxing that gives you the facts and makes you laugh. It's Clapback Thursdays. And this week, I have some shocking news. So let's get into it. Okay, so last week I questioned the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, about their decision to drop boxing from the 2028 Olympic Games in LA. And I asked if this choice had anything to do with the insanity that overshadowed this past Summer Games. You all know what I'm talking about. So a few days ago, a medical report was leaked confirming that Iman Khalif was in fact born a biological male with male organs. Holy shit.
What?
So this means the IOC actually condoned a man assaulting women in public and rewarded him with a gold medal.
Huh?
What the fuck is going on?
Come on, man.
Her Adam's apple is bigger than mine. And her pecker probably is too.
Yes.
And what about safety?
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
You put the female boxers' lives and their health on the line. What a fucking disaster. So because of this, you are taking boxing out of the Olympics in 2028, but you're leaving breakdancing?
No.
That's not true.
Fuck you guys. Also, there have been rumors that my company, Golden Boy
That's not true. Breakdancing's not in the Olympics, right? Please, somebody tell me. I thought that it was a one and done. But anyway, keep going, Oscar.
Promotions may do a 5-on-5 against Matchroom Sports, which is run by my buddy Eddie Hearn. We all know Eddie has the worst record as a promoter, and his fighters aren't the cream of the crop. But I'm always up for giving the fans a good night of fights under one condition. The fights will be contested in a tiny ring, so nobody can run. And since we have the best matchmaking in Golden Boy, these are the fights I propose. Vergil Ortiz versus Boots, Munguia versus Pacheco, Cepeda versus Shakur, Oscar Duarte versus Devin Haney, and the winner of Ramirez Barboza will take on Jack Catterall. Hell, let's even make it a 6-on-6 with me and you, Eddie, in the main event. I see you've been taking box aerobic classes.
Pow. Pow.
So let's give the fight fans what they really want to see. Me kicking your ass. Oh, and Canelo. Fuck you. Remember, guys, you're never a hater when you're only speaking the facts.
I don't know. I like his clapbacks. I guess he hadn't sold the ring yet by that time to Turkey Al Sheikh. He sold Ring Magazine to Turkey Al Sheikh for $10 million. So he bought it for 7, sold it for 10, and they're gonna bring it back. They're gonna bring it back in print. So I grew up with Ring Magazine, so I guess this is a good thing. Jay, man, shout out Oscar's edit team. It was already gold, but now it's 10 times better. Yeah, Scott, like me, I like his clapbacks. I really do. I'm looking forward to what he does tomorrow. Munguia Pacheco, yeah, that'd be a great fight. That would be a fun fight. This is Matt, you're not that easily offended. No, I'm not. Box Scholar asks if I'm going to the Tyson fight. No way. I would not spend unless I was working. I would go. I would 100% go, but I'm not going there on my own. All right. Well, Matthew says she's a female. She's born with 2 types of chromosome. Well, look, I always question whether or not, I don't know. I haven't seen a real, what we know is like a genuine medical report. So that's how the media is. You hear something and it flies. And now this is the latest. We'll see. I didn't know what was on there, but look, if what you're saying is true, then I just helped you out. Ryan Fraser, I actually like Oscar's sick. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, Scholar, I thought about applying for media, but again, I don't want to fly I could have, because I did for the presser, but I'm not spending money on a flight and hotel and all that. I'm just not doing that. All right, Jay. Well, there you go, Matthew. Then share it. It's on Instagram. You can grab it right off Instagram. Share it and let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. My man. 58 is 58. You got that right. Georgie. So I am interviewing Dana White on Monday in New York for one of the boxing docs that I did, Kevin Kelly and Troy Dorsey. So I'm interviewing him for that doc on Monday. So that should be cool. Matt, Eddie has like millions and millions and millions of dollars. Respect and nobody thinks he's crazy. Well, I don't know. A lot of people don't respect him, but I mean, he did mention that he would be happy if ESPN came to DAZN because ESPN's contract, what am I saying? Top Rank came to DAZN because Top Rank's contract with ESPN is up, I guess, in the summer of 25, and there's still rumors about where they're going to be. So Dana used to be in boxing. Yeah, he's in boxing now. But the reason why I'm interviewing him is there's a documentary coming out on a bunch of fights called Return to the Ring. One of them is Kevin Kelly and Troy Dorsey, which was a fight back in '92. Great fight. And Kevin Kelly told me that Dana White said it was his favorite fight of all time. So I reached out to his people and found out that it was true, that it is his favorite fight, which I thought was very interesting. I would have expected a higher profile fight like Hagler Hearns or Ali Frazier 1 or Ali Frazier 3, something bigger than that. But no, his actual favorite fight is Kevin Kelly and Troy Dorsey. So I get to interview him on Monday and talk about where he was when he saw the fight. So should be interesting. Should be interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it should be interesting. So in 2 days we've got the Tyson Paul event. Although it's a fight, I was calling it an event. It's a fight. It is a sanctioned fight. Somehow it's a sanctioned fight. But yesterday it was 42 years since a real fight, a great fight. 42 years ago yesterday at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Aaron Pryor defended his 140-pound belt against Alexis Arguello. One of the best fights you'll ever see. Arguello was the lightweight champ, moving up to 140. He was going for his fourth weight class, which would have been a first, I believe. And he was a favorite in the fight, and he was knocked out in the 14th round. Just a great fight. Great fight. So I have a clip of a great show that I worked on called Legendary Nights. It's about 2 minutes long. I encourage you, if you don't want to watch, if you're not going to watch Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, which is your right, watch a great fight like Aaron Pryor and Alexis Arguello. But this is a clip from Legendary Nights, which was an Emmy award-winning show.
Pryor smiles at him at the bell.
I have no idea why Aaron Pryor wanted any more of those shots.
He just wasn't strong enough to knock me out.
This fight had all the billings, of course. Brawler, boxer, good versus evil. What it all comes down to is two guys in an 18-foot square.
A close fight in the eye of any impartial viewer. If the fight had been scheduled for 12 rounds as Pryor's camp had requested, the bout would have ended in scandal.
I believe the Spanish official was judging every round for Arguello, and so we were kind of getting worried. The worst that could happen is for a fight to go the distance, and then somebody has it by 1 point one way or the other point, and then somebody has it 10 points the other way.
As you see it now, the fight's dead even.
It's just about dead even, yes.
This was for real. Aaron Pryor had to knock him out or he would have lost the fight.
This is the 13th round. It is still anybody's guess.
Having knocked out 29 of 31 opponents, Aaron Pryor had fought past 10 rounds only once in his career. Alexis Arguello had built his reputation in these final championship rounds.
That was the best punch of the fight.
My head went back and I could see the lights in the ceiling up there.
That was like target practice.
I was so concentrated on him that was nothing. I took that shot up. I ate that shot.
When Alexis hit a guy with those kind of shots, 9 times out of 10, they go down. He fought a different animal, and Aaron Pryor.
I think Aaron got to a point, his mind just went to another place. No matter what, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going to get beat tonight.
2 rounds away from the respect Aaron Pryor always thought he deserved. He sat across from a 3-time champion and a potential hometown decision.
Punch back! Win these 2 last rounds! 6 minutes! You can fight for 6 minutes!
Once again, Panama Lewis asked Pryor to drink from the mysterious black bottle.
Give me that bottle! That's the one I mixed.
Pryor brought everything from the inner city and the ghetto with him.
Panama Lewis telling Aaron Pryor that he had to win these next 2 rounds.
Everybody that did anything to him that night was with him. That's what Alexis meant to him.
Pryor with that jab and a combination again. And Arguello's in trouble. Arguello in big trouble against the ropes. Pryor going for the kill, trying to put him away. Arguello trying to cover up. A smashing right hand. Arguello's helpless against the ropes. Arguello's hands to the side. It's over. Aaron Pryor has retained his junior welterweight championship. Arguello slips to the canvas.
So there you go. That was about a 2-minute clip from Legendary Nights. Arguello Pryor Arguello. What a fight! What a show! Go if you don't want to watch the fight, watch the fight, then watch Legendary Nights. Cheated, and that was the big. That was the big case. That was the big case. I mean, give me the bottle, the one I mixed. And they always insisted that it was peppermint schnapps to help Pryor. He had an upset stomach. That was their story. But surprisingly enough, this being boxing, and this was in Miami, they didn't do a post-fight drug test, which would have cleared everything up. But boxing is what it is. It is what it is. And regardless, Aaron Pryor won the fight. Aaron Pryor won the rematch. They had a rematch, and then both of their careers just really went nowhere. Aaron Pryor ended up with 1 loss on his resume, succumbed to drugs, and Alexis Arguello fought on, had an odd sort of career. He had a fight in 1986, I believe. He knocked out former 140 champ Billy Costello. And then he didn't fight again for 8 years, and then he had a few fights and he lost. And his story was sad. He was shot under mysterious circumstances in his home country. So great fight, and it was 42 years ago on HBO. It was just an incredible fight. Steven, George, you ever meet Oscar in person? Wild how he kept up that persona for so long. I interviewed him once when I was at HBO, and it was for some, I don't remember what it was for, but Oscar was a very boring interview for the most part. Very vanilla, you know, very boring, very vanilla answers. Now he's different because he's not fighting anymore, so he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. Eric, no, man, no. This is me, bro. Eric Drath is not. No, it's a 3-person team, and I'm in the field and producing and helping to edit. No, There's no Eric Drath. Eric Drath puts himself in all his shows. He finds a role. Look, I'm not knocking it, but he finds a role for himself in these shows. Boxing Scholar, Yo George, there's another event in Texas. I can represent you as media. I can be professional. What? Oh, if there's another event. Hey, absolutely. Are you? So I'm assuming you're in Texas. Matthew, you said somewhere in here that that you don't think the Saudis are doing business with him, but they did. They paid Matt. They paid him $10 million for Ring Magazine, so they gave him money. So they did pair up with him. They paired up with him. They paid him $10 million for Ring Magazine. So don't, Legendary Nights are fantastic, absolutely. And I'm going to rewatch the prior Arguello one since the anniversary was yesterday. Jay Rich, is that the reason for post-fight drug tests now? That's a great question. I don't know when they started, but they were in place when they fought in 1982. But the fight was in Miami, and every state has its own commission, and for whatever reason, they never did a drug test on either fighter. So we'll never know. I mean, it's all speculation. In the show, Sugar Ray Leonard felt that he didn't think anything was on the body. If you want to know his opinion, he didn't think that Aaron Pryor needed anything, and he didn't think there was anything in the bottom. But there clearly was something mixed. It wasn't just water. Something was mixed, and we'll never know. So, and I think he was caught because HBO hadn't been around that long, and he probably forgot that there were microphones in the corner, and everyone could hear everything you were saying. But that was a wild scene. Osterine mix. Yeah. But a great fight 42 years ago. Man, you think about fights like that, and I wish that the best would fight the best now. Next month we've got Fury and Usyk, but I'm curious. Oh, Zapata. Saw Panama Lewis at a ringside bar in Jersey City. I forgot what fight, but I think he was working with Judah. Yeah, I think he did do some work with Judah. He was barred from working corners, but he wasn't banned from boxing, so he still made a living. He still trained fighters. He just couldn't represent them in the corner. He couldn't work the corners anymore. So really, and that wasn't because of what Panama Lewis did in that fight. Of course, if you don't know, Panama Lewis was infamous for the hand wraps a long time ago, where he literally took the hand wraps out of Louis Resto's gloves. And boxing's got a past. It's got a past. But celebrate that fight 42 years ago. Check it out on YouTube. Check out the fight. Top Rank released it, and it's got decent quality. And also Legendary Nights is on YouTube, and that was every single episode was great. Every single episode was great. So he was going to be in Mike's corner versus Lennox. Well, although Tennessee, who knows, with their commission, he was supposed to be banned from working corners, period. And it was supposed to be upheld by every commission, but that was Tennessee. So some states like Tennessee, like Florida, like Texas, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. There's no rules. So 2 days I'm going to be watching at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is when the card, I don't know if it's starting with the Taylor Serrano fight first and then the Tyson fight. I don't know how they're doing that, but I'm watching at 8 o'clock. But I know what I'm watching. I know I'm not going to complain about what happens because I'm expecting nothing. I'm expecting nothing to happen. I'm not expecting a real fight. I would say buyer beware, but it's on Netflix. You don't have to buy it. So, oh man. Boxer Manny said they agreed, then said no at the last minute. Interesting. Off topic, but you hear Alonso to the Yankees, man. That's a whole other subject. If they're signing Alonso, then guess they're not going to re-sign Soto. But we got all offseason to talk about. We got 2 days until Tyson against Paul. Do people think Mike Tyson's going to win this fight? Like, seriously, at 58 years old. Again, I did watch the 3-part series on Netflix, building up the fight. I'm going to watch it. I can't say I'm excited. I'm excited about the Taylor Serrano rematch, but I'm just curious. I'm watching this Tyson-Paul fight, and I'm curious. I'm curious to see what happens. I'm going into the ring like Fan Man. That would be a sight. Tyson got 0 chance. So there you go. I mean, but people are talking, and George, for every one of you like you that said Tyson has 0 chance, there's 10 more people saying Tyson's going to knock this guy out. And then there's 10 other people that are saying Jay Paul's going to knock Mike Tyson out. So, Jay Rich, I definitely think Mike wins, but like I said, I'm delusional. Yeah. It's terrible to watch Arguero get beat up like that. Yeah, that was a rough ending to that fight. And the referee, you know, it was the 80s. And it was literally a day or two before the Ray Mancini Dooku Kim fight, which really changed things. He could have stopped that fight. The ref could have stopped that fight before he did, because Arguello just had no. I mean, he was literally just getting pounded on the ropes. But 2 days later, I believe, is when Ray Mancini and Dooku Kim fought their ill-fated fight, where Dooku Kim was knocked out and died from his injuries. So, yeah. Joe Shimo, hey, my boy, it's Delancey. Yo, entertainment fight. You can expect a draw. Now, I could see this being a draw, that they have some kind of a handshake agreement, because it doesn't matter. They're getting paid like 20 million, 40 million, whatever they're getting paid. Neither guy wants to get knocked out. So I could see a draw. I could see this being a draw. Whatever happens, I really look. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna watch it. Matthew, he was a legend, and so was Aaron. Make no mistake, he was a killer. Very sad too, the way Aaron Pryor, really both of them. Aaron Pryor cleaned up his life. He passed away a few years ago. I came this close to interviewing Aaron Pryor for a very sad reason. The year, and I forget the year, but Vernon Forrest, Alexis Arguello, and Arturo Gatti, they all passed away within a very short time frame. And I was with HBO, and I did a piece on them, a tribute piece to the three of them, me and another producer. So I was supposed to interview Aaron for Alexis Arguello, because he had, and I still, on my phone, I still have a voicemail from Aaron Pryor from all those years ago. I ended up not being able to interview him. The other producer did. I did interview Alexis Arguello's son, and it was one of the saddest interviews I ever did. Alexis Arguello, who was also a producer in sports, worked for Showtime for a long time, so shout out to Alexis Jr. But yeah, it was a beautiful piece, and I don't know if it's even on YouTube anymore, but Vernon Forrest, Arturo Gatti, and Alexis Arguello all passed away within a very short time frame. So HBO used to do things right back in the day. So Zapata, is it me, or does this Tyson fight smell of something going to happen? Exactly. And it has from the time they started it. They mentioned this. It was an event, then it became a fight, then it was postponed. Yeah, something I could see something very weird. weird happening. Although I would have expected something weirder when it wasn't a sanctioned fight, when it was just an event. Like I could have, it would have been cool if they would have done it like wrestling, if it was an event. And Tyson's winning, then Paul's winning, and it looks like Paul's on the verge of a knockout, and then Evander Holyfield comes in the ring with a chair and bashes Jake Paul with the chair, and something like that. But I think that would be entertaining, but this is going to be a sanctioned fight. So, but I still think something weird is going to happen. Joe Schmo, Tyson will tarnish his legacy against, but no matter what happens, he's still Mike Tyson. So he's still Mike Tyson. Maybe the ref will get more involved to prevent a KO. Maybe. That's if he has any more space in that legacy to tarnish. Yeah, not going to lie though, Jake is definitely on the mix. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. But it's 2 days away, and there's a lot of people. Like, look on social media. People are they're debating this like it's like Mike Tyson's 28 and Jake Paul's 28. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of it. All I know is I'm going to watch it. So George, go check out George's. Go to the Zapata brand podcast. George does great shows. Says he talked to the Texas Commission. They said they're drug testing. See, here's another thing. I don't smoke weed. I don't fault people who do, but Mike Tyson, remember when Tyson did his podcast? All he did was smoke weed, like the whole show. And I don't think he stopped smoking weed for this fight. Now, I'm no doctor, but for as much as weed people say it's good for you, it's still smoke in your lungs. And as an athlete, that's not good for you. That's going to cut down on your endurance. So, and now they're drug testing. So, but in Texas, they probably allow everything, or maybe they don't. I don't know, but it's an event. They don't care. It's not a title. Oh, he's testing positive for weed. You can believe that. You can believe that. Yeah, the worst one was Wrestler versus Collins. Yeah, we were talking about just that horrible Panama Lewis, just a horrible, horrible black eye for boxing. And the sad thing too, that Wrestle Collins fight, that was the undercard of one of Roberto Duran's greatest nights when he beat Davey Moore in Madison Square Garden on his birthday or around his birthday to become junior middleweight champ. And that undercard was just terrible. Just terrible. Texas is very strict on drugs. They're not very strict on bad scorecards and bad refs. So at least they're strict on something, because terrible judges, they're not strict on. Good referees, they're not strict on. Dan something. Not only lungs, weed affects your reflexes. It's just facts. That's what I'm saying. So all these things don't help you as an athlete. They don't. I'm a runner. They don't help you. I think Tyson will always be dangerous for a minute or two. But come the fourth or fifth round, he's 58. And I mean, he's been smoking for years. And he's going to get tired. But whatever. I'm getting too deep in the weeds on this because it is what it is. Daniel Woods, the amount of stuff Tyson does is going to affect his reflexes. That's what I'm saying. But look, maybe it doesn't even matter. That's what I'm thinking. This fight, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. Zapata brand podcast. Keyshawn Davis got hit hard for weed. Yeah, he did. He did. He absolutely did. But to counter that, boom, Texas would never call off this event. It's at Cowboy Stadium or whatever they call it now. Yeah, never. Dickie Cole and Lawrence Cole. Yeah, exactly. So, now Matthew says, look at it this way. If they are open carry states, there are no rules for the sport. Well, that is true. There really are. They like to say there's rules in boxing, but they do what they want. They do what they want because, look, I thought there's something called the unified rules of boxing. And I thought that men's fights were 3-minute rounds. And this is a 2-minute. So whatever, you just have to, certain things you have to accept as a boxing fan. You can rail against it, complain about it, try to get things fixed, but boxing makes up its own rules. And boxing is a business. Never forget. I still go back when I was at Glassboro State College. I took my first TV class, TV 1, with Ned Eckhart. He had written on the board, TV is a business. The purpose of a business is to make money. And it might have been reversed. It might have said, the purpose of a business is to make, but you get my point. The purpose of business is to make money. They're making money. And I think they're making money by getting people to subscribe, which I've already got a subscription. So I'm not paying any money. Jake burns out fast too. Yes, he does. I mean, look, I watched the 3-part series and it was fine. It was fine. It is what it is, man. I just feel like a lot more people are going to watch this than are letting on. And that's okay. I mean, a lot of people, they want to get on their high horse and say, oh, I'm a purist and this is not real. You know what? It is what it is. And I'm watching it. I'm not expecting anything. I'm not arguing for who's going to win because I think they're both going to win because they're both making a ton of money. I just think something weird is going to happen. Boxing Scott, Jerry's World, exactly. Matt, I think if Mike Tyson can land a perfect punch on Jake Paul, like he has on so many other professional heavyweights, he will break his face for sure. See? That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people who are passionate about this fight because it is a fight now. So the thing about Mike is his fundamentals are 100%. It's all about repetition. Tyson has incredible defense, even as an older man. Well, we'll see. He sure didn't have good defense in his last fight that he lost 19, 20 years ago. He had no stamina. But here he is. Here he is. Although, something I did like in that lead, that show, like the 24/7 type show that they did, they had Jake Paul. They had an old Nintendo hooked up, and he was trying to get Mike Tyson's punch out to work, and it wouldn't work. I don't know. I'm dating myself, but if you had a Nintendo, you would have to blow in the cartridge sometimes to get it to work. Sometimes they just wouldn't work. But he did that, and it finally worked. They had him playing against Mike Tyson in Punch-Out. So shout out to Nintendo. Shout out to Punch-Out, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I could beat Tyson. Man, I would play that game for hours and hours and hours. And every one of the characters they did certain things. Like if his eyes blinked, you knew like a left hook was coming, and you had to dodge, he would miss, and then boop, boop, counter with 1 or 2 shots, and then wait for him to do it again. Tyson had a certain, he did things a certain way. And I knew what he would do, so I could beat him. But if you slipped up by a half second, if you timed your slip too quick and came in and got hit with the uppercut, you were out. Like you couldn't recover. You got hit with 1 shot and you couldn't recover. So, man, that was such a good game. That was such a good game. Oh man, I might have to buy that. And then at some point, Tyson, he didn't have the rights anymore. Or it was called Punch-Out, and it had some other guy, but it wasn't as good as when it was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So I did like that part in the show where Jake Paul was getting knocked out by Tyson in a video game. It was pretty cool. Danny Woods, the Paul brothers had no shame. Have no doubt Jake will knock out a 60-year-old for the bag. Look, Netflix is letting them do it. Do you think this would swing more boxing than Netflix? That's a good question because I am friends with I think he's the vice president of something over there, guy that used to work for HBO. And my sense is I didn't ask him about this, but I don't think they want to get into boxing. This really isn't boxing. This is theater, right? This is drama. This is theater. This isn't Boots Ennis against Virgil Ortiz, which I think would be a good fight, but I just don't think they're interested in it. I think they're interested in something that's going to make a splash, something that's going to help their network. And I mean, who is bigger than Mike Tyson to get people to watch? So I don't think that they are getting into boxing. I really don't. I think they'll do these events when they can. I don't know what else they could do. Like, for instance, if Jake Paul were to win and they start throwing out Canelo's name and Canelo would accept, I think they would 100% do a Canelo Jake Paul fight. But you're not gonna see junior middleweight tournaments on Netflix. They don't care about the sport. They care about Netflix and they care about people subscribing. And there's no fighters out there now that will make people subscribe. There's just a few. Canelo. But he would have to fight someone of substance. Maybe Terrence Crawford, maybe that fight. Like fights like that, I think Netflix does. But no, George, I don't think more boxing is coming to Netflix. I don't. Nobody should say Jake Paul has no chance. When you're in the ring, both opponents have a chance. It's who's going to rise to the moment. Very true. Oh, man. Super Macho Man always jack. But he was another one. Like, George, you played the game, too. Everyone had they had, I'm forgetting the word, but they had a pattern. A pattern. That's it. They always, which was how you won the game. I mean, if they made Tyson think on his own, you'd never beat him. He would blink. And then you had to slip and bang, slip and bang. And then every time he would throw a punch, he would tell it was a blink and he would throw it. Sometimes he would blink and throw it faster. What a game. What a game. Yeah. Matthew, I have to play that voicemail. Man, I should pull it up now. But yeah, it was a long time ago. And I was so excited. I mean, I've interviewed hundreds of fighters and I respect every fighter that I've ever from, oh, there it is. July 28th. It doesn't say the year, but here's let me see. I don't know if this will play. If you'll be able to hear it. So this is Aaron Pryor. I had left a message with him to interview him, but this is Aaron Pryor calling me.
Yeah, George, this is Aaron Pryor. Area code 513-382-3411. Give me a George, call. Give me a George, as soon as possible. Thank you. Bye. Give me a George.
So I don't know if you heard that, but he was kind of stumbling over his words a little bit. But I saved that all these years. Man, I was really looking forward to interviewing him, and I wasn't able to. And then he passed away. I forget what year he passed away, but that was Aaron Pryor. Leaving me a voicemail. So yeah, I had to say that. It's Aaron Pryor. It's Aaron Pryor. George, I think ESPN is leaving boxing. Where do you think Top Rank will go? Man, that's a great question. There's nothing but rumors, right? There's rumors that they'll go to DAZN. they've got a roster, so whoever is in the fight game is going to want top-ranked fights. So that's what I think. Daniel Woods, if Tyson wins, old-timers and bars across the world will be taking on Young Bucks, and that'll be bad. That would be a bad thing. Matt, Mike Tyson should have no problem dealing with Jake Paul. He had no problem dealing with Roy Jones Jr. Yeah, but that was 4 years ago. Man, I didn't even get to drop the link, but I got to get out of here because I need to do these shows in an hour. We're under an hour. I'm going to try and do another one tomorrow. I need to get back on these, but I've been busy, super busy. Just look, man. I've been busy on a doc series that has not been announced, and I've been talking about it. It's called Return to the Ring. And it's gonna be sensational. I mean, we've got one episode done on the Kevin Kelly Troy Dorsey fight. We're in production on another, Tim Bradley and Ruslan Provodnikov. We're doing Jermaine Taylor and Kelly Pavlik. We're doing Chris Algieri and Ruslan Provodnikov. Just and more. But that's where my time has been going. Just working on boxing. It's always boxing. Georgia, there was so much boxing since you last went live. We need more than an hour to cover everything. That's true. But man, my wife, I got the family here, so, and I asked them to kind of be quiet when I'm doing the show. So, but yeah, I've been working on this show. So I wanted to, let me see, trailer seg 1. So you know what? I'm gonna play maybe a minute or two. This is, and I'm editing this too, but this is just a few minutes of Tim Bradley, Ruslan Provodnikov return to the ring. Let's see. Where is it? Seg 1. Here we go.
You hear the reaction of the crowd. Ringside, we had Pacquiao up by a considerable margin. It seemed to us that you guys thought you'd lost the fight at the end of the fight. Tell me about it.
You know, I got to go back home, review the tape, and I'll see if I won the fight or really don't.
I knew it was a very close fight. Knew it could have went either way. After the fight, I hear the decision.
And new WBO welterweight champion of the world, the Desert Storm.
Judges felt that I did enough to win the match, regardless of what everybody else thought that they saw, regardless of the commentators and what they saw.
I think that is a terrible, bogus decision.
I don't know what to say. I have no comment. I'm totally confused.
Timothy Bradley has scored an upset split decision victory over Manny Pacquiao. God only knows how.
Biggest fight of my career. It was a fight that really would have defined my career. I fought hard. I fought every single minute of every single round.
Bradley's trying to fight back.
Well, that's right. Kick right hand for Bradley at the end of that round.
The right hand to punctuate the round.
You got to understand that Manny Pacquiao was an icon. Manny Pacquiao was a legend in most people's eyes. I mean, every time he made a move, there was always oohs and ahs.
Boom! Another left hand.
The two judges that scored the fight for me, they felt that I won the fight. I did enough to win the fight.
It's perceived as you robbed somebody, and he didn't. I don't care what anybody thinks or believes, because I saw that man train. My kids saw that man train. He did his job.
I was literally demonized. I was considered the worst decision in the history of boxing.
The victory over Manny Pacquiao made Bradley a 2-division. So there you go. That's just a little bit. They're really going to be great docs, and hopefully we get a bunch more. So that's where all my time is going. But I'm out of here. 2 days until Tyson and Paul. I'm calling it Tyson and Paul. I don't care what Netflix calls it. That shows you that they don't care about boxing. Got the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, and he's second billing. Anyway, peace out. We'll talk some boxing soon. Appreciate everyone on here.